Hello, 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 and welcome to Updog Sports Talk. My name is Matt Miller, and I got a sweet new chair, with lumbar support too. Um, Joining me today here at Updog Sports Talk is not just Justin McGovern, but we have intern Tones as well. What's going on, fellas?
Yo, how we doing?
We're happy to hear about your lumbar support.
Yeah, dude, it's fantastic. We are here to talk NFC East. Here at Updog Sports Talk, we like to stick up for the little guy. And we were watching the big media outlets just go on and on about the Lakers, LeBron, the Patriots with Tom Brady, the Buccaneers with Tom Brady, and that was about it. They didn't really talk about anything else. The Yankees, they didn't talk about the Bengals, the Bills. They talked about Michigan a little bit, but they didn't talk about like Cincinnati Bearcats football, or even they have not shown any excitement about the UTRGV Vaqueros. So that's when we decided to step in. And we created this channel so we can stick up for everybody. The Washington Commanders are like that young team that you just know is going to compete for years. Now, there have been a lot of petitions to bring back their former name.
Who was that petitioned it?
I
can't recall.
White people?
The President of the United States.
Yeah. But the Commanders' ownership is now in the driver's seat. They are on board with this whole thing. They want to be driving that car, driving that ship. They just pumped a bunch of money into a locker room that will actually get torn down in a couple of years, but they went from an F to an A like overnight with locker room.
But just to be clear, they're pumping all the money into their roster and investing in their players, not the other thing, not the name change.
No, that would be a $1 billion makeover, and they're trying to use that $1 billion to build a new stadium. But I really like the Washington Commanders, what they got going. I mean, they've nailed the draft the past few years. Dan Quinn he wasn't really given a big chance in Atlanta. Like, it just kind of fell apart on him in Atlanta. I think taking a year back in Dallas, a defensive coordinator, kind of recollecting, and then moving over to Washington, I think was the best thing for his career. And I think also Cliff Kingsbury is going to like stick around for a little bit. I think he realized that maybe writing checks, or not writing checks, but like doing like what you would think a manager would do. I don't think he likes that. I think he just likes coming up with a playbook, calling plays, and telling people like, hey, run this route real quick. But they brought in so many people. Like offhand, it's like 15 guys that they brought in: Deebo Samuel, Michael Gallup, Laramie Tunsil, Javon Kinlaw, Von Miller, Jonathan Jones, Will Harris. Like, they've brought in a bunch of guys to contribute to this team. And I think that, I mean, we could probably start talking Super Bowl window with them. What do you guys think?
How often does a rookie quarterback repeat and build on what they did the year before?
Hardly ever.
When the teams have the tapes, and now, granted, he's approached it, Jaden Daniels has approached it a little differently using, VR as a training tool. So, we can't discount what that may have, kind of prepared him for this season as well. I think bringing in Deebo was big. Speaking of big, the Scary Terry. What's going to happen there? He's wanting to be one of the top paid wide receivers, and after a season like last year, it's hard to say that he doesn't deserve some money. I don't know that he deserves to be up there, fully, but after the clowns that he had the ball thrown to him, it's definitely an upgrade, and we saw him produce.
Yeah, I think with that whole situation is like ownership wants to pay him. They just brought in a lot of people. They brought in some big salaries. Kinlaw, Von Miller, Laramie Tunsil, Debo. Like, those aren't cheap guys. So, and they're trying to win a Super Bowl soon. Like, they're trying to get Washington back on the map and get Washington fans and the whole, what was it, DMV area?
DMV.
They're trying to get that whole area excited about football again because they spent the majority of the last 30 years crying tears of, like, just pitiful sadness. And, like, whatever happens with Scary Terry, they at least have a solid guy in Debo. If Terry decides he wants out, if he wants to sit out, if he just wants to collect a paycheck and run lazy routes, they got Debo, they got Luke McCaffrey, they got Noah Brown, Michael Gallup, Chris Moore from Cincinnati, they just got Jalen Lane, Mike Strachan. Like, they're real deep. Jacoby Jones, KJ Osborne, they're super deep at receiver. Like, top to bottom, this may be one of the best receiving groups in the NFL. Now, they don't have the elite guys like the Jamar Chases, the Justin Jeffersons of the world. But Terry McLaurin, very solid.
I feel like they definitely overlooked this, that he would want a contract extension when throwing cash around elsewhere. Now he's like, hey, you know, you've got all this money to throw around, so where's mine? And all of a sudden we're getting late in the offseason here, and they found themselves in a bit of a pickle with this situation. That could be one of the things that kind of halts this momentum. So that'll definitely be a big question mark. But I think we can even look at the draft, though, and I think they did a good job here addressing the offensive line in the first round, bringing in a corner in Trey Amos that some people thought could go in the first round. So you could see where they made some pretty good moves here to kind of help this roster out a little bit.
Yeah, so, like, they got to compete with the Eagles. The Eagles are clear-cut favorites, not just in the division, but in all of the NFL. They had to dish out a lot of money. They're coming up with plans for, like, a $4 billion stadium. They're raising, what was it, FedEx Field or RFK Stadium, one of the other one that they're not using. And they're going to build, like, a $4 billion stadium there. Just complete state-of-the-art. And so you can see the winds of change blowing hard in Washington, D.C. One thing that I kind of wish they would have done, but I understand why they didn't bring him back, is Jonathan Allen. Jonathan Allen just, like, walked out of the building, and I mean, that guy was half your defense. Not just because he was big, but, like, because he was really talented too. But I can put them in a Super Bowl window right.
Yeah, I think so that kind of leads to the big question mark here is, like, is the defense going to be good enough? That's going to be one of the big things we need to figure out. Like, they have some good pass rushers, but is the pass rush going to be good enough to get home in those big games in the playoffs against the Eagles or against the Lions or anyone like that? Like, is it going to be able to do that? And then you look at the secondary. I mean, they've made some moves to kind of help address it. Marshawn Lattimore has actually been with the team for a whole offseason now, so I can expect that to make a bigger impact. But the secondary still is a work in progress, I would say. So that's kind of the big question mark for me is, like, how are they going to look at defense? It definitely is not one that looks dominant to me. If I'm picking which side I'm more concerned about the defense than the offense.
Especially with the type of run teams that are now in the NFC East, you know. Saquon, of course. But, you know, Dallas is every running back known to man, you know, so they're gonna have some fresh legs, you know. You wear a defense down and suddenly you're making big breakaways. So, you know, it could come back to bite them a little bit.
What I do like is that the Commanders are bringing back their old teams style uniforms for an away game this year. So, like, I think that's pretty cool. I think they're paying homage to the past with but keeping their current logos. Um, I would like to see that style make more of a comeback because I think those uniforms, change the logo if you want, but like the uniforms in general were some of the best the NFL's ever seen.
Change your name to the Wild Hogs. That was still the best name.
Change your name to the Washington gas station employees for all I cared. Keep the uniforms. But I think Washington, they have a really good coach. They have a really good offense coordinator. Those two are on the same page as their quarterback, a young quarterback going into his second year. We'll see if he has a sophomore slump. C.J. Stroud hit his slump last year. I don't see the same slump coming from Daniels. He may not have the as good of a season that he did last year, but I still think he's going to be very productive. I don't think it's going to be as big of a drop as C.J. Stroud had. Not saying that it was C.J. Stroud's fault. There was a lot going on with the Texans. We kind of already covered a lot of that. But I just don't see the same situation happening for Jaden Daniels. I think new ownership wants to lift him up and make him, like, put his name in the conversation with Joe Burrow and Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts and whoever else you want to put up there. I think they finally have an entire building of people who want to win, not just make money. So
yeah, absolutely.
And the best part, they're fun to watch.
Yeah,
last season,
well, except for the conference championship game when they lost 55-23.
That game got so ugly so fast. But yeah, I mean, you see that with Jaden Daniels, like, you could see this guy kind of has a good it factor to him.
Yeah,
there's just something about him that's clutch, and you feel like he's just going to keep getting better. So it'll be an interesting team to watch.
We are on all social media, the popular ones at least. X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Reddit. Yeah, follow us everywhere. Wherever you get your podcasts, usually there's a slight delay on that, but yeah, we're there too. We'll catch you guys next time. For the time being, we are sprinkling in college football alongside our NFL videos. We will go back to live in the fall, and we will see you guys in the next video. See ya.